Alright, so we are going to get started with the eyes first. So I'm going to prep them really quickly off camera and then we'll jump back in and get ready to start. So my first tip for you guys is going to be with eyeshadow, and we are going to be doing eyeshadow that's going to help really contour the eye, and that will connect to our nose contour later when we're doing our face. And so I'm going to start off by taking any brown color that you have. I'm going to use this one. This one's actually from the Huda Beauty, like smoky something eyes. It's just a matte brown, and I'm just going to take it on a blending brush and I'm going to pat it in my crease. Instead of going down, I'm going to connect the eyeshadow going up toward the eyebrow right there. So then it will start our contour for the nose and it will blend seamlessly together. And then I'm gonna just blend it a little bit. The next tip is going to be with eyelashes. In order to get that really like flared up look on the outer corner, we have to use eyelashes that give us that effect. Now you can use wispy eyelashes like a full strip lash, or you could do quarter eyelashes. So I will link the ones that I have down below, and these are like my all-time favorites for that really fluttery outer corner look. And it's just these half lashes right here. They are super, super nice and they look so good on. So I'm gonna apply these and I can show you guys the difference between what it does with the eyes. Okay, so there is the eyelash on, and you guys see the difference it makes. It just adds that extra drama on the outer corner and really kind of just lifts up the eye. Okay, so our foundation is on and we are on to our next tip, and now we're going to talk about contouring. And so with contouring, you can do cream or powder, whichever you prefer. I prefer cream because it looks more natural and you can snatch your face better with cream than you can powder, in my opinion. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Light. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my contour just a little bit higher on my cheekbone. So my cheekbone is like, when I smile, you can see it, it's right there. So I'm going to just place it like literally like almost on the cheekbone, starting from like the very top of my ear and coming down to my face, like so. You see, when I look straight ahead, my face looks more like lifted because we place that contour more higher up like this instead of like this. So we really are going to help kind of lift the face up by applying it more upward. My next tip, again with contouring, is for the nose specifically. So to help make your nose contour look so good, it's important to connect it to the eye, because technically where our nose starts to that line right here, where it starts to go back and curve, it's almost like it's curving into the socket of our eyeball, and so you want to contour that as well. So that's why with the eyeshadow, I said place it from here and go all the way up to like the eyebrow. That's going to be the starting point, and then we're going to finish it off right now with the contour. So this is my cream contour from Huda, and then I'm going to start right there, right underneath that brow where we had that eyeshadow, and start bringing it down the nose. And I am just following the natural curve of my nose. I know a lot of people like to snatch the nose and go like, make like two very thin lines. I personally don't like that. I think it looks so weird in real life. Yes, it looks amazing in photos, but in real life it looks odd. So I'm just following my natural nose curve, and then I'm just blending it into my eye socket right underneath my brow. My next tip is again still with the contouring, and now we're going to move on to the lips. So with the lips, this is totally optional. A lot of people love that fuller lip, and that's great, and some people don't, and that's also great too. And I'm going to show you, for those who want to define their lips a little bit more, make them a little bit more poutier, this is what you can do with contour that's really going to make your lips look so good. So in order to make your bottom lip appear bigger, you're going to start by contouring right underneath this lip, right there, add a little bit, and then I like to drag it up almost to the corner of the lip. Also do the top lip if you want to make your top lip appear more bigger. And then I also find it to be a bit more feminine when there's less space right in between your nose and your lip, and so by contouring you can just make it appear like you have bigger lips and this space right here is a bit smaller. I almost pretend like I'm lining my lips but with the concealer brush. So what I'm going to do is with this lip contour, you want to make sure when you're blending it that it pretty much stays right where it's at. You don't want to, I mean, you can blend down into the lip and create that like ombre effect, but you don't want to blend too far upward because then it's gonna just start looking crazy. And so I'm just gonna use a really dense concealer brush, and I'm just going to tap it into my skin right where I put it. Alright, my next tip is going to be with concealer. So we're going to start by concealing the underneath of our eyes. And with your under eyes, you want to make sure you are covering all of the darkness under here, but you're also making your under eyes brighter if you want that brighter complexion look. It's hard to put a lighter concealer over something that's dark because it can make it look ashy, and it's probably not going to cover all of the darkness. So my first tip is to use a corrector because that's what's going to correct the bluish tones underneath our eyes so everything is neutral. So I'm going to be using my Bobbi Brown correctors right here, and I'm just going to mix a few with a small concealer brush. And I'm not going to put it everywhere underneath my eyes. I'm just going to put it right where that darkness is, right here in the inner part, because that's our darkest part of our under eyes. So I'm going to be using two concealers for my face, and the reasoning behind that is I'm going to be using one color that is close to my skin tone, maybe a smidge lighter, and then I'm going to use another concealer that is lighter than my complexion. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when you already have your foundation on, whatever color it may be, if you go into a concealer that's already 3 shades lighter, it is going to be pretty stark, very apparent, and it's going to be very like light dark on the skin. Some people like that, and that's totally fine and totally cool. If you're into that, that's great. I'm not. I'm more of like a seamless transition kind of person, and I want everything to kind of look very dimensional. And so I'm going to be starting off with concealer that is close to my skin tone. So this one is the NARS Custard one. And I'm just going to place this underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to blend. As you can see, my under eyes look brighter, but they don't look like. Now I'm going to take my lighter concealer, and as you can tell, my lighter concealer and the concealer I just used, there's a pretty big difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sparingly use the lighter one, and I'm going to place it where the lightness really hits my skin. So right here is where a lot of the light hits my skin. So I'm just going to place a few dots right there. Then I'm going to use the same sponge to blend it out, and I'm just going to keep it right in this area. I'm not going to go everywhere with that first concealer. I'm just going to keep it in the center like this. So I'm just going to finish that on the rest of my face. Okay, so my next tip is how to make your contour appear more apparent and make it more snatched. So what I'm going to do is take a concealer that matches the shade of your foundation that you used on your skin. I'm going to start from the back, right underneath the contour, and I'm just going to drag a line right under there, right to the corner of my lip, and then I'm just going to take my sponge and I'm going to pat it in and drag it down to this area right here. And as you can see, it definitely gives you more of that sharp line and definitely looks more snatched. This looks great too. It's definitely more buffed out, but if you want something that's super snatched, then try the concealer trick. Okay, so my next trick is with face powder. So my trick is to use a different face powder for underneath your eyes and a different powder for the rest of the face. I'm suggesting you use a different powder for underneath your eyes because we want the area underneath our eyes to be brighter than the rest of the face. And the reason why I am using a different powder from my face is because I'm using a different undertone in the powder for underneath my eyes, a different undertone for the one for my face. So for the one underneath my eyes, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty loose powder bake in the shade Cupcake. And Cupcake is more of a pinky beige neutral color. And I'm just going to use a brush and I'm just going to pat it underneath my eyes to set that makeup that we put on. So this is what my face looks like now with the powder underneath my eyes. And as you can see, it looks so much more brighter and it helped neutralize that warm tone from my concealer. And my next tip is going to be for the eyebrows. And for your eyebrows, you can do your eyebrows any way you like to, but what I will say that can work for everyone is extending the brow with the tail and the front. So you're gonna wanna take a brow pencil that's really, really thin. So the one I'm using is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Brow Wiz, and as you can tell, it's a really, really, really fine pencil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start filling in this bottom part of my brow, and I'm going to bring it out this way. And then I'm just gonna start flicking my brow up from the very base and just going through the front. And go light with your pressure, and then you can add a little bit more. Then I'm gonna make sure my arch is where it needs to be by just following this part right here, and that is where my arch should be. My next tip is going to be with bronzer. I'm going to start from the temple and I'm going to go down to my cheekbone instead of doing it straight across like this. This is going to give your face more of that uplifted appearance by starting from more of the top instead of going straight across. Also, it's the same idea with blush. Now you can just apply blush on the apples of the cheeks and that's it. If that's what your vibe is, do it. I'm cool with that. But if you want to actually elevate your cheekbones and make them appear more like lifted and kind of upward, then you're gonna want to apply the blush higher up on the cheekbone. So go ahead and take your blush. I'm using Benefit Gold Rush. Start applying it going upward, and you can see how close I am to my eyeball. We want it close. Next tip will be with highlighter. So with highlighter, this tip will be especially great for my oily skin babes out there. With highlighter, we always want to place it on the cheekbone, but the thing is, a lot of people place it in pretty far, like over here. And over here, we have a lot of pores. Whether you have small pores or big pores, we have pores, and so using a highlighter over the pores, it's gonna make your skin look like you have texture, especially if you have pretty large pores you're dealing with. Instead of bringing your highlighter all the way down here, we're gonna keep it all the way in the back right here, and we're gonna place it a little bit more up. So when you're applying your highlighter, I always find directly on top of the cheekbone is the best. I'm gonna start by applying it all the way back here, and then you can bring it up like this if you want to. It looks like my center right here is flawless. I have zero texture, I have baby skin, but if I turn, you can see that glow on my skin. Okay, my next tip, which is also my last tip that's going to really make your lips stand out, is by contouring them. Yes, we did do some cream contouring on the face with our lips, but now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm basically going to do the same thing, where I'm going to overline my lips. So I'm just going to go over my lips just like so. Then I'm going to start right underneath my lip and bring it up to the corner. So then this is what my lips look like after I do the little overlining at the top. You can see there's a lot more definition and it looks really good. Alright, this is the completed look. I finished everything else off camera, which the only thing left was my lipstick. So I did that off camera. So I hope you guys really liked this video and found it helpful and maybe learned something new that you guys want to implement into your makeup routine. So thank you so much for coming back to my video and sticking to the end with me. I really appreciate you. And if you want to see more of my content and more of me, then please subscribe to my channel, and you can also like this video if you liked it. It lets me know what kind of content I should be creating, and yeah, it would be really helpful. And again, thank you so much for coming back to this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!